linebackers. What kind of growth have you seen from him, not just since he's been with the Raiders, but kind of over the years?
Right. I think just even since he was a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, when we first worked together, just a guy that's matured, that's kind of come into his own. As a linebacker, as a person, I think since you've seen him here as a Raider, learn how to be a pro. You really see him with the veterans a lot, with, obviously with Jayon and DP, done a good job of just those guys mentoring him, and that's been good to see. And then obviously, what you see with him from on the football field, a physical player, very intense, passionate about the game. Big growth with him since he's been here, yes, sir.
I know he's missed the last few practices, but Devon Diablo, he's a guy that he's only been playing this position not even 2 years now. What have you seen from him as well?
I think somebody's getting comfortable playing linebacker. That transition is never easy. Everybody thinks you just go in there and play, but your eyes are trained differently. And I think he's done an outstanding job of just not just training his eyes, but communicating, being a bit more vocal player. We've asked him to do a lot. He's done a lot. He's embraced that, and obviously he has a skill set that's very important to our defense, things that he can do, being able to cover, run, and obviously pressure. So the growth with him has been pleasant so far. I think the other night you saw him play very well. And you just want to keep improving on that.
Luke Masterson seems to be a guy. He played pretty well on Thursday. What have you seen from that undrafted free agent?
Yeah, another guy who transitioned from safety to linebacker in college and still making that transition. Again, working on his eyes, working on the physicality, just the technique and fundamentals to play linebacker. And I think what he's really embraced more than anything else is being I call it the commander in front of the defense and kind of just leading those guys. But I thought what he did the other night was really impressive. A guy was very active, came in the game right away, was throwing his body around. We talked about being physical. I thought he was physical, using his hands. Thought he did that. Pretty good job tackling. Only one missed tackle for him. And just that constant improvement. Again, both those guys, Darian Butler and Luke, have done an outstanding job of just asking questions, putting in the extra time. They're probably one of the first guys in the buildings and the last one to leave.
When you go from safety to linebacker, the vantage point that you're seeing the game from one level to the other, is it drastic or subtle or?
It's a cheat code, right? I mean, you sit there, you're 20 yards away from line scrimmage. You don't got no 300-pound lineman up on you. There's no heat right up in your face, and now all of a sudden you're in that 5 to 6 and you're in that box. And there's some big men in this league, right? And they're very athletic, and obviously they can hit you fast if your eyes are wrong. I think just, again, training that. Luke also played outside linebacker. Wasn't the signal caller. And we played him at Mike and Mac position. He's done an outstanding job with that to just, again, train his eyes to see from inside out and seeing the whole picture and, again, understanding what we want to do defensively.
What did you think of just communication-wise in the game on Thursday? Are you guys where you want to be in that department?
You never, at the end of the day, you want to be your best in January and February, right? That's what we really want to talk about. But the progress has been important and very critical to what we want to do. We do ask our linebackers to communicate, to run the show with hand signals, to fix things. I call it plumber. They need to fix things when they're wrong. And they've done an outstanding job of that. I mean, all of them. And, again, we don't have a Mac linebacker or a Will. Those guys learn the linebacker position. If you can master that, the X and O's and the concepts, you give yourself a chance to make this team and help our defense.
Coach, you played at the highest level, obviously, and I think the players respect that. You can probably strap it up right now and play, but I have a question for you in regards to whether you're playing the Will, whether you're playing the Mike, whether you're playing on the strong side of the formation. What is the single most important thing that you look for in kind of building the foundational core of this young unit?
I think the most critical thing is that I always start is just their eyes. I think that's the hardest thing to train. But somebody that knows how to play with their eyes, it don't matter what you run in a 40. A guy that has bad eyes, looking at the wrong keys, staring at the quarterback, which is always going to be a lie for us at linebacker, that helps you anticipate and play faster. I really talk about that in the film room with these guys, of just understanding their keys, reading their keys. Again, at linebacker, we're off 2, 3, and 2 most of the time, right, if you count numbers. And I think when you see a guy that's looking at the right thing, that's not having no false steps, not taking 2 directions, 2 steps to his right to go left, we want to take all that out. The game is played too fast. The guys on the other side of the ball are too good, and that's what you want. I look for the mental aspect. Obviously, if they're in this room, in this building, they can do it physically.
Thank you, Coach.
Nowadays, linebackers are asked to contribute in pass coverage probably more than ever. As somebody who played, what are sort of the challenges of having to be aware of the run game, as you said, kind of being in the box, but also having to be a presence in that pass game as well?
Yeah, I think playing linebacker is more difficult than any other time. You're asked to take on a 330-pound guard, cover a running back in space or tackle a running back in space at 200 pounds, and then go out there and run with T. Billings, running 4-2, 4-3 down the field at times and cover 2. So very unique. And I think the linebackers we brought in, they all fit that mold of guys that could be 3-down linebackers. when I played, it was, two backs downhill. We talk downhill, but it ain't really downhill. The game is, horizontal. Then they puncture the line of scrimmage. So for me, seeing these guys and teaching them to not be the typical linebacker that just wants to run to the sideline, do everything from inside out, play within the scheme of our defense of how we're built and how Pat has structured it, I think is critical. The one thing these linebackers have done a good job of is understanding who we have on the edges. I mean, we got 55 and 98. They're pretty goddamn good players, and they do a good job of setting the edge. So as long as we can be inside out, we give ourselves a chance to play in the run game. And in the pass game, if we understand that who's at 2 and 3, what is our threat? Is it a speed guy like a Waller? Is it a shifty guy like Winfro? That changes your whole game plan as far as how you coverage.
All good?
All right, you guys have a good one.
Thanks, Coach.
You guys have had to fill a couple different roles up there, depending on what kind of formation you're in. How do you handle that as a defensive lineman, having to learn different positions?
I think Coach Pat got us, going through a couple different formations, but up front, the more you can do, the better. So I think for all the interior guys, knowing, each end knows and 3-tech spot is just beneficial for, for the whole defense in the long run.
Throughout your career, whether it's college or the pros, have you kind of played in different kind of systems where you've been asked to do those things in the past?
Yeah, college and earlier in my early career, I was just like strictly nose. And then after going to different couple teams, I've been in a different couple defenses now. So I've been able to learn the end and the 3-tech and the nose spot. So I know a couple more things in the tool belt.
Looking forward to playing against your old teammate Sean Mannion on Sunday.
Yeah, former Beaver. It'll be exciting. It'd be cool to see him out there. Sean's a great quarterback and a good dude, so it'll be fun. It'll be a good little battle.
How do you think the development of the defensive line is coming along right now? Just in general, are you guys where you want to be? Are you ahead of schedule, behind where you think might be?
I think it's good. Coach Ocam and Pat has they got us going, and have slowly developed we got the young boys in there, but we got a pretty vetted room. So I think we're just working hard, day in, day out during camp, and kind of taking it day by day.
Can you talk about the transition playing from a 1-gap and 2-gap and learning cross-functioning on both? You talked about the 3-tech, you played nose tackle, obviously 2-gap. Talk about the difference between the two and what is the hardest adjustment when making that transition.
2-gap, I mean, for us up front, I mean, the trenches are the trenches. I don't know whether you're playing 1-gap or 2-gap. We're down there in the dirt, so not a big difference for the interior guys. But overall, for the defense, I think it's going to free up and help our linebackers a lot, and it's going to be beneficial for us.
Like you mentioned, you've bounced around to a lot of different teams now. What's that been like? Are you just used to every year coming in and having to learn a new system, or what have been the benefits or the challenges of moving around so much?
I would, for myself, I've enjoyed it. I've been lucky and blessed to be able to have a career, this long, whether it's been bouncing around or not. But like I said, I think it's been beneficial for me because I've been in so many different defenses and positions along the interior line. I think that's maybe why I've been able to last so long.
You like Las Vegas so far? What stood out about coming here since you've been all around, like I said?
Yeah, no, Las Vegas is great. I'm from California, born and raised, so pretty familiar with Vegas, close to home, which is super nice for me and my family. But Vegas is great, and then having the Raiders here is even better.
Known for having a big Polynesian community. Has that made you feel more welcome?
For sure. I've been in some teams, and there's not a big Polynesian community out there, so I feel, not lonely, but it's a little different. But yeah, coming here and seeing a lot of familiar faces, it's nice.
Okay, all good?
Thanks.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We've seen Thayer Mumford kind of playing a little bit more as of late. What kind of growth have you seen from him just as an individual player since he first got here?
Oh, Thayer's grown a lot. I think he's one of the players that's grown the most I've seen so far. He's one of those players that have really dialed into a lot of what the coach is saying, and he's just grown every day and just gone out there with an intent into practice, and he's made some big strides.
And Coach McDaniels, he talked about, he played a lot of, like yourself, a projected starter in the preseason games. How did that kind of help you when it came to, obviously you've been working on picking up the new scheme, but to actually do it with live contact in the game?
Oh, it's super important. You can make all these drills and stuff in practice. You go out and do that, but nothing is like actually going out there and playing in a game. And so those preseason reps are really critical for me to be able to go out there and make those calls and feel those situations as an actual game situation. So I try to take advantage as much as possible with those situations.
How would you kind of rate your performance last week and then kind of the offensive line as a whole?
There's always stuff we can clean up, but I feel like this is the time. Early in the preseason, this is the time to do it and make those mistakes. Always stuff to clean up, always stuff to grow from. And like I was saying earlier, that's when you want to do it. You want to do it in the preseason. And so we're just growing off that every week. That's what we've been doing since camp, and we're just going to continue to do.
It seemed like in particular in the run game, you guys just kind of mauling them a little bit. Did it feel like you were in a rhythm in the run game in particular?
Yeah, no doubt. We've early in camp, we've been harping on double teams. Double teams have been super important to us, and just feeling these combinations in the run game, and feeling one another and how we want to fit them. And so we came out with intent to run the ball, and that was our mindset, what we were going to come out to do.
Andre, speaking of the run game, from your perspective, having such a versatile and diverse kind of group of running backs, does that affect the way you guys approach your job, or is it just fun? You just go out there and try to maul people anyway, knowing that you got a different cast of characters back there carrying the ball?
Oh yeah, no doubt. We have a great group of running backs, and we really don't take into account who's doing it because we trust each one of them. But when you got dudes like Josh Jacobs back there running it, he's going to hit those gaps really hard. So we just do our best, and guys like that just make our job easier. So.
Lester Cotton looks like he's a guy that's going to could have a big role with you, and he's had quite the journey to get to this point. You've been around him for all that. What stood out about him getting to this point?
Oh, me and Lester came in together, and I'm just super proud of him because, he came in earlier with me as a rookie and struggled with his weight earlier. It's no secret to anyone, but he'll be the first one to tell you he worked super hard each day. He wasn't here with us when he was gone, and just to get back on track with him, it's been amazing. My hat's off to him. He's been working really hard, so it's awesome having him back in the line with us. Love playing next to him. He's a great guy.
I actually worked with him for a few months. How would you describe Carmen Basilio's coaching style?
He's tough. He's not going to let anything slip. He's a really detailed oriented guy, and as offensive line, that's what you need. You need someone who's super into the details and is not going to let anything slip. And I feel like that's what him and this whole coaching staff bring. So we're really excited to have all these guys here and get their feedback.
Obviously every player is working on their own individual stuff, but as an offensive line, I think we underestimate sometimes how important it is that you all work together as one group. So not to make any presumptions, but it seems like 4 spots are set and one is kind of up for grabs. How tough is it to not know maybe who that other person is going to be?
Right. I just go into the mindset that my job can be taken at any minute, and I feel like that's the mindset a lot of these people take. I can be cut in any minute, and that's I feel like that's what makes us better is the competition. So it's a good group of we have in the offensive line room, and we push each other. We push each other really hard, and we don't let little things slip, and we're just going to continue to grow.
Andre, Coach McClure says hi and said that you and Colton were both a joy to work with. How much do you get from Colton Miller as far as tips and whatnot for the offensive line to make you a little bit more comfortable in your environment here?
Colton's been playing. Well, I've been playing with Colton for a really long time since UCLA. So having him in the offense line room and just being able to pick his brain on this, and just having a lot of the older guys too that have been around, Hronis, Jermaine, who've been a little more experienced in the room, and just seeing how they see stuff. It's a collaboration, when you're looking at film of how guys see stuff, how Coach Carmen sees stuff. So having older guys in there, it helps out a lot, especially when you're breaking down film and getting into these preseason games when you don't really have, when you really haven't seen a lot of film from some of these new defensive coordinators. So it's really nice to have him and the rest of the guys in there with us.
Yes.
Thank you.